Hello YouTube! In this video I will be building a solar system for my summer home. I have decided to go with following inverter. It's ESPHome. It's a hybrid inverter. It means that I can attach the battery to it, attach it to the grid, and also have solar panels or a generator. 4200 watt. So I cannot put it just to the wall. My house is wooden, and also considering that these things tend to make noise, then I probably want to put the box outside of my house, not inside. It's much easier for me to set it up in my garage rather than take it 100 kilometers away from my home to my countryside. And then if something's wrong, then all the shops are far away. So it makes sense to do it here. When I check different offers from hardware shops to just buy a metal box that would be large enough, then the prices started around 150. And this is just a bare box, and I'm not even sure if those boxes are waterproof, so you can even put them outside. So then I looked online on Facebook Marketplace to see if I can find something used. I mean, it's a metal box. And then I happened to find this thing here, and it only costs 10 euros, which is extremely cheap. It's 1 meter 20 high. It is 60 centimeters wide and 40 centimeters deep. Currently you can see through it, because apparently this is some very fancy Soviet time thing. You can remove all of these panels, and you can see a bit of rust here, but this is the bottom side. All these panels are upside down at the moment. This makes it really good to do any kind of building. It has also very nice locking mechanism. You can like properly lock it. This is literally a box that used to have batteries inside. Since I live in a climate where the temperatures can get to minus 20 degrees Celsius, then I have to also think of temperature and isolation. So this metal box should be large enough that I can place on the sides here and front and back. FFPIR, it's I got 30 millimeter thickness, and these are fireproof in the sense that they will not catch fire and melt away. They are used in saunas. So the rust is only actually mostly in the bottom, like around here, and also of course on these panels there. Check how overbuilt this thing is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 screws on one side of the shelf, and it's the same on the other side. And initially this panel was installed here, so I was super confused. How am I supposed to remove the screws? But once you remove the panel, then you can access it. Yes, these are flathead screws. This thing is really old, but honestly it seems to be super high quality. It has all the rubber strippings here, which means that it's probably possible to keep it outside. And I'm hoping to reuse these shelves to host the batteries. So I have hung this inverter at the moment, but it's obviously moving. I hung it up here at the moment, to this existing bar, and now I want to create something that would support it from under here, and my idea is to reuse one of the shelves. Cut it like from here, and then I can create the bracket. So I'll cut it off from here and here and here, and then attach this part back there. Alright, I attached one of these rails here. These came, from the shelves itself. Thing is nice and upright. And yeah, I can move it still here, but so I have a slight problem. I really like these shelves that came with it. The battery sits on top very good. 1, 2, 3. Yes, seems like it's perfect. But the spacing of these shelves, it's a bit too wide, there's like this much of a gap, which means that the most upper battery here, it's very little room, and I need to put heat insulation here, which leaves even less room for the cables. Another issue is that if I do insulate like from the outside, then these are metal and they're connected to the outside, which means that these will be like cooling rods during the winter, because the outside of this case will be super cold and it will just transfer all the warmth from within. So I will have to remove these shelves in order to make it actually winterproof, and also to get these batteries lower. I removed as much rust as I could from the rusty spots, and I also cut off these so the bottom would be as flat as possible. I have painted the box with hammerite. I didn't paint the surfaces on the inside that are anyways good. Painted also all the side panels, the back panel, and reattached this one door that was super rusted. As you can see, here the door still has the bottom part, but here it was so rusted that it seemed better to just cut it off. As you can see, I removed all the shelves. Then I realized that I will need to mount fuses and switches and other stuff probably. So I actually bought this universal shelf. Here I have now marked where the holes for the inverter will be. It's not very easy to see maybe, but these. And then this panel, I made some cuts to the side so it will fit better, because this upper part will be very difficult to access. I added some rivet nuts, so in case I need to ever remove this, it would be easy to do. So now I actually cut a second of these shelves the same way, so then this panel will attach here. Up here I made a couple of new holes for the panel. Honestly, getting to these upper nuts is okay, but you can't really see very much when you're installing it. The inverter is super high up now. It does have some small air gap. This was my first attempt. I tried to just press it down, and you can see it has these holes in here. Well, for my second try, I cut out the relevant corners so it would fit in here. Now it's like nice and flush, it's not broken, it's very smooth. This one is also cut, it's looking very nice. I painted it as well. It's starting to look pretty nice. I still have space on the sides and in the front as well. I did get a second battery as well, and here is space for a third one if I ever want to expand. I think these doors were the most intricate, because here you have like this lock behind. So for these pieces I cut these in, but the rest was just, you know, measure and cut. So now I'll apply some weather sealing, because the old rubber gaskets are maybe not the best. Looks good to me. Panel. So in here as well I'm putting aluminum tape here. Now have glued these doors here as well. They're not going anywhere. I just used silicone to glue them, and same for here. Added some tape just to cover the foamy parts. First of all, they don't get dirty, and in some cases for also stopping any air movement, because these are two separate panels. Then I also added some tape. You can see here as well the outside layer. All of these panels are fully taped together. The inside layer, I just put them in here. I didn't add tape. It makes like there's no reason for it. Then the doors insulation also touches this. So when I open the door, you can see that it's nice and tight. And also this door, when I close it, you can see that. And now I'm thinking that since this is metal and it's very close to the terminals, then I was thinking that maybe I'll add here either a strip of cement plating. Another option would be to use liquid tape, so I can just spray this and it will form like a rubber on top of here. Right, I sprayed some amount here and I'll let it dry, and then I will see how easily it comes off and does it even want to stay. It's dried and it feels very rubbery and doesn't penetrate too easily. It's very nice of this watt cycle batteries that these hand things are removable. So these things, and there you don't have to cut them. Underneath here you can see here's a tiny clip. If you push it out, you can just remove these handles. Honestly, building this box took way longer. If I would not be waiting for cable crimps and fuses and other components, then I would have been not so happy to spend so much time on this. And it seems this inverter works so that it sucks air from this side and also from this side in, and it goes through, and then it blows it out from here. And I will need to create inlets and ducts. I very temporarily hooked it up. This is not permanent cables, I just wanted to see if this thing works. These cables are not big enough to support these batteries. Pretty loud, I would say. It's currently charging at 10 amps from the grid, and yeah, you're not gonna want this anywhere you actually live. This is loud. Oh, and I wanted to mention that if you're hooking up from your mains using a socket, then obviously you have to check which one is the load. So in this case, this one, yeah, you can see lights up. This one does not light up. I obviously checked it before I connected it. Created now proper wires. I added here a 250 amp fuse. And at the moment I'm just charging this battery, so it would be full, and then I will flip them and charge the other battery, and then I can connect them together. Currently this cable looks so wonky because this will actually connect to the bottom one, and this will connect these two, and of course on this side one will go like this. That's why the positive cable is already looking nicer. Of course I'll put fasteners as well, so they wouldn't like flop around here. I also actually flipped the batteries so that the positive would be that side. Of course this got further away, but then I can make cabling much nicer that they don't have to cross each other or anything. I can't imagine putting any thicker wires here. These like barely fit. I don't like that they're touching basically. There's like 1 millimeter in between them. So at home I prepared an ESP controller, ESP8266. It's pretty old, but all this has to do is to send, first of all, I'll hook up two sensors for temperature. One will be in the battery box and the other sensor will be in the upper part of the case. And also this will switch the heating element based on, you know, these temperatures. And I will try to connect the RJ port to it as well to send all the data of the inverter to my Home Assistant. You can see it's turning on. I will Now I have also configured my phone's hotspot on. You can see that it already connected to my hotspot. So you can see that VPN tunnel is not up yet. But now VPN went up and MQTT went up as well. It's 14.4 degrees. Home Assistant as well, it's 14.4. And if I hold the temperature sensor, you can see that it will raise any moment. I set it, I think, to 15 or 30 second intervals, so it will take a moment to update. Come on. Alright, 30 degrees. And here you can also see it immediately update. If you have VPN, then I can still use ESPHome here, and you can see it's online. I can actually update the firmware without the USB cable, so this is put into this fucking case there, and I can update the firmware I'm programming remotely. I don't even have to be on site. So really impressed by this tiny device. This thing has like 80 kilobytes of memory. Here I have MAX or Max 3232. So this takes the RJ signal from the inverter on this side. On the other hand, or other side of this cable, it's an RJ45 connector. I also bought a step-down buck converter from 12 volts to 5 volts. And I'm actually powering the ESP device from the same port here. Let's see, the inverter or the battery is 27.1 volts, and here I have my Home Assistant open, and you can see that it just now, I just plugged it in and it's already showing the correct value, 27 volts. If you can get ESP32, it has way more memory, because I had to disable the web server, self-service portal, like basically everything in order to have enough memory, because this inverter has quite many fields, and I already disabled a bunch of outputs as well, because otherwise this ESP just runs out of memory. Now I have remote monitoring for my inverter, and I still need to, of course, package it properly. Obviously I'm not gonna leave it like that. So I got this, it's actually for son-off devices, but it seemed good size, and so I will install it in here. And here I have my boards. These, this one, the RS3232, and the power supply, this one here, I epoxied them into the case. This one is still free, because I might change it for ESP32. I will create an entirely separate video for the ESP32 and Home Assistant and all this remote monitoring. It ended up being a bit more complicated than initially thought. And yes, I did go with the ESP32 chip instead, not the one that you see in this video here. In the next video I will show the physical installation of this box, and also how I installed the solar panels and the wiring. So if you're looking forward for this electronics video, then this will not unfortunately be the next one, but probably the one after that. Like and subscribe if you want to see how this solar video series continues.